Hey everybody, ChrilK here, welcome back to a new episode of Let's Play Quantum Break. In the last episode we defeated the Juggernaut and now we are heading for Dr. Amaral's office. So let's get in there. Okay. Pick up Chronon harness for Beth. And we need to find the office.
No alarms. Looks like nobody here knows about the mess I made on the way in. Nice job, Beth.
I'm not that sure if nobody knows about it. Okay, Friday social. Yeah. Do not use the radar tower entrance as a smoking area. This is important. Chronon tags wanted. And please return all used cups to the kitchen. Return your cups so nobody has to die. Yeah. This must be a message from Mr. Hatch. We can jump down there, but I don't want to do it. Okay. Dr. Ethan Watson. Let's first have a look around.
Now, look. It's just math. The more people, the bigger the area we need to prove, and the less time we're gonna have. Literally.
Okay. Clarice Agova, this is also the agent that is interrogating us, yeah, in the side story. And because this here is more or less a telling of us, Mr. Hatch, to Clarice Agova. Paul Serene has become preoccupied with the appearance of Jack Joyce. He has put aside his engagements at tonight's gala in order to focus on some feeble attempts to convert Jack to our cause. This distraction presents us with the perfect opportunity to push our agenda. Okay, tonight we send Monarch into a state of chaos. Tonight we ensure Paul Serene's downfall. I have managed to convince Paul to allow me to deliver the gala speech on his behalf, creating the perfect cover. Steps are as follows. Gala shooting. Okay, this is what we heard. I will be delivering Paul's speech at the gala very soon. I have arranged for an inside resource to fire shots in my direction from a vantage point halfway through the speech, narrowly missing me on stage. This will throw the gala into pandemonium and destabilize Monarch to a point where Paul's authority and control of the situation will be called into question. More immediately, it will force Monarch to initiate security measures that will lead Sophia Amaral being locked into the nearby Monarch Villa for her protection. Drone sabotage, we already saw this in one of the in the last episode. Stetson will recalibrate drone A7's flight pattern and cause it to crash directly into the villa, killing Sophia Amaral and therefore removing Paul Serene's only means of developing the treatments necessary for his sickness. Oh, Martin. He's even worse than Paul. Treatment lab demolition. In the aftermath of Amaral's death, I will head an investigation that will allow me to gain access to Dr. Kim's lab, where the entirety of Paul's treatments are kept. Demolition charges will be planted and every single treatment will be destroyed, with no further treatments forthcoming. Paul will be rendered helpless. With the stutters happening more and more often, I predict that Paul's sickness will take hold within 6 hours of these events. Only then we will make our final move. A nice and helpful guy. So, let's move on. What about you? Clumsy monarch. Office worker. Oh no, my TPS reports. Exactly, your TPS records. Okay, from Fiona Miller to Beth Wilder. Joyce in custody. Our plans might actually overlap for once. I'm going to attempt to access Dr. Kim's lab tonight during the gala to find out if he knew about the countermeasure. I still think that's our strongest lead. However, if I get inside, I should be able to shut down some of the security measures from inside. The problem is that getting inside the lab might prove to be a long shot. Couldn't get a hold of Amaral's keycard, so I've resorted to shamelessly flirting in order to find a means in. I'm going to the gala as Charlie Winscott's date in hopes that he can get me inside. No, we already saw this in the little movie after episode 2. So not our episode, but here this episode inside the game. No, Act 2, I mean. Act 2, Episode 3. That's if I can that's if I can hold back from punching out the douche for that long. Consider this is a test of restraint. I know that you think Jack is the key to obtaining the countermeasure, but the evidence is really stacking up that Dr. Kim knew something about the device. All of the research he did in that lab is classified. They're hiding something big in there. Yeah, they're hiding Mr. Kim. I'll let you know what I find. I'd warn you that your plan on the island sounds reckless, but I'm sure you're fully aware. Keep in mind that the minute Dr. Amaral goes missing, the entirety of Monarch is going to be hunting you down. She's the only thing keeping Serene alive. He won't let her go without a fight. Keep safe. To Fiona Miller from Beth Wilder. Joyce in custody. Yeah, oops. I'm sure you noticed that things didn't go exactly according to plan at Ground Zero. Seems like a running theme tonight. I can't go inside details now, but we found something that I believe is the key to retrieve the countermeasure. The solution is inside, but we need to kidnap Sophia Amaral in order to get it to work. Jack gave himself up as part of a plan to get him inside. I'm on my way to release him so he can get to Amaral, a poor man's Trojan horse. Desperate times, desperate measures. Oh yeah. What's your status? Any update on the Dr. Kim lead? We may need your help from inside to pull this off. Any chance you can lower security in and around the R&D facility to Beth Wilder, from Fiona Miller? I just got word that Jack Joyce is in Monarch custody. Walked right into the mansion on Gull Island and gave himself up. What the hell are you two up to? If you want to help from the inside, then I need to know what's going on, Fiona. Yes, Fiona. Oh, what happened there? Here's another. Martin Hatch again. From Martin Hatch to Monarch Security Team leads. Instructions for tonight. People, it appears we have been overtaken by events and we have had to adjust our plan accordingly. As you are no doubt aware, we now have Jack Joyce in custody. He gave himself up earlier today as Mr. Serene has a personal interest in Joyce and the information he might have. He will be interrogating him at the detention center on the island. Unfortunately, this means that Mr. Serene cannot be there for the speech he was scheduled to give at the gala event tonight, so I will have to stand in for him. I have some new security requirements pertaining to that, but I will discuss those with specific individuals in person. Of course you will. Furthermore, be aware that in addition to Joyce, we also have Liam Burke held at the detention center. Despite his long service to Monarch, Burke is now to be considered hostile and has already done quite a bit of damage to us. I shouldn't have to say this, but just to be absolutely clear, any orders given by him should be ignored. Yeah, he just wanted to have a shit and then he got out, you remember? Please ensure that Joyce is ready for Mr. Serene. Also, please bear in mind that Joyce is chronon active and extremely dangerous. He has given himself up voluntarily, so it's entirely possible he doesn't intend to cause trouble. But let's make sure we're prepared if he drops. If he does, and we did. We don't know his motivations, and I would not put it past him to use his surrender as a means to exact a hidden agenda. Martin Hatch. Of course we have a hidden agenda. It would be boring without one. Okay, down there is the chronon particle source.
That's Amaral's office.
Okay, this is Dr. Amaral's office. Let's get in there. Let's have a look.
Amaral had tried to warn Paul. The end of time was approaching quickly. Less than 24 hours away.
Mr. Serene believed it would take years to run its course. Admittedly, he was wrong.
Okay, Sophia Amaral, Dream Journal 1 to Paul Serene. With Jack Joyce in our custody, I thought it relevant to forward you a message you sent me years ago. Do not underestimate the significance he holds in your life. I understand your concern that he is reluctant to accept the inevitability of what is coming. However, when he sees the whole picture, he'll have no choice but to believe. We all had our doubts once. You showed us the light. Give him time. Nice pun. To Sophia Amaral from Paul Serene, and yeah, this is the message from 2013. Sophia, as I promised in our latest session, I am now going to transcribe what I recall from my dreams. I still have doubts that this exercise will help alleviate my symptoms, but I'm willing to explore the idea further if you truly believe in its merit. For someone who is not a medical doctor, let alone a mental health professional, you seem to take a great interest in my thoughts. Not that I don't appreciate it. Here's my first attempt. I recall a haunting image of 7 red doors. Each door had a wrought iron handle that was dripping liquid metal onto the ground, creating a pool in the middle of the room. I looked down into the aqueous metallic glow at my feet to see my own glimmering reflection, revealing that I had aged half a lifetime. Startled, I looked back to discover that only one door remained. Jack Joyce stood in front of it. The heat in the room was overwhelming. Jack was sweating profusely. His skin red and peeling open. He begged me to take him back home, but there was no door leading home. I opened the only door left and entered, discovering that we were back in the same room we had just exited. He refused to come to terms with this and opened the door again. I followed him over and over as he desperately opened the door, forever leading us back to where we started. The heat grew and he howled in pain, begging to know why I made the other doors disappear, why there was only one path. He begged me to bring the other doors back, he begged me to take him home. The iron pool burst into flames. Jack screamed in agony. I grabbed him, told him that we needed to learn to endure the heat, to embrace the flame. I knew it would come to pass eventually, but the only way to survive it was to accept its inevitability. My door began swaying rapidly, dancing to the movement of the flames around me, until my bones faded out of existence and I surrendered to the fire until we were one and the same. I was no longer one being in one place and time. My life force spread evenly across the flames until I was no longer an individual in one body, but a grander, shifting entity. Yeah, maybe he got a drifter then. I could feel Jack being consumed within my essence. I felt a power within the heat, a clarity of intent. I forgot about my desire to ever return from the flames, because the body that once desired to return was lost forever. I became the very thing that I entered, and it became me, a cyclical fury chasing itself. Our burrows. I woke up in a cold sweat, quickly wrote down words that poisoned my mind in that moment. Delmore Swartz was right. Time is the fire. Nice words. No, we know this. Oh. Let's have a look here. Okay, project fracture progression. We've looked at the preliminary. This is the poster behind here. We've looked at the preliminary data on the frequency and severity of the stutters and crunched the numbers, and the results are alarming. Our original projection, which gave us years until the fracture reached the point where time breaks down completely, does not match up with the progression of stutters we are experiencing. But simply the stutters are happening more and more frequently, clearly indicating that the Maya-Joyce field is breaking down much faster than we thought. Taking the rate of acceleration, we can hypothesize that we might have as little as 24 hours until we reach the end of time, or the point at which time stops and no longer starts up again. We do not know why the original projection was wrong and why the data, which we do consider reliable, coming as it does from Mr. Serene, seems entirely contradict our current findings. Regardless, the main issues seem clear. In order to achieve Monarch Solution's stated goals, the life protocol should be activated as soon as possible. Okay, this is this belt.
That there looks like what Beth wanted. Oh shit. Amaral's at the party. The stutter won't last. I better find a way out of here and get to the party.
Okay, but let's first read this here. Chronon disrupted wave function. Subject AK. Wave function subjects AK shifted. Slide 1. This is again so much to read. Yeah, you can stretch also playtime like this, when you have to read so much to grasp all the information the story has inside, then yeah, I would prefer dialogues being read via being stored on tapes that you can just play back. This would have been more just nicer. Okay, much of what we know about the shifters is theoretical, based on observations made by Mr. Serene and the limited experimentation we have been able to conduct on the only subject we have managed to capture. They do not seem to have a stable physical presence. Rather, the data we are gathering appears to be fragmented and contradictory, as if there were countless versions of subjects occupying the same space. Our current theory is that they somehow exist in a persistent state of quantum superposition, or to put it another way, with reference to the famous Schrödinger's cat thought experiment, the cat is both alive and dead at the same time. The full mechanics and implications of this exceed our current understanding, but on a practical level it seems to make them highly resistant to injury. It appears that even if the shifter encounters deadly force, it may kill one of its aspects, but because it exists as multiple iterations of itself, including iterations that were not killed by the force, it does not stop. Current theory suggests that the only way to stop a shifter is to cause its wave function to collapse from the superposition to a single eigenstate. In practical terms, the shifter must be affected with deadly force enough times for it to run out of healthy versions of itself. As such, direct confrontation with the shifter should be a last resort. Slide 2. Contact with the shifter is extremely dangerous. We know that they are essentially mobile repositories of vast amounts of chronon particles, and that they can only exist in a zero state, an area which has been depleted of chronon particles, typically by a fault in the Mayer-Choice field that encompasses the universe. Colloquially, we refer to these as stutters in time. We also know that shifters are hostile to any source of chronon particles other than themselves within stutters, so any chronon active individual within a stutter may find themselves targeted by shifters. It appears that movements in stutters, by which we mean the very movement of particles within a space in which time flows, not merely the movement of an individual, disturbs them, and they respond with considerable aggression. I think we will encounter some shifters later in the game. Let's see. As discussed previously, shifters are extremely resistant to damage. They are also quite physically formidable, but their biggest threat is the distortion field around them. Its exact nature is unknown, but we know it warps the properties of the space surrounding them, exerting great physical stress and unpredictable forces on its surroundings. Again, in practical terms, close proximity to a shifter may be fatal even if no actual physical contact takes place. Slide 3. The stutter-proofing technology Monarch Solution has advanced offers solid protection against shifters. Time flows normally within a stutter-proofed area, so shifters simply cannot exist within them. Therefore, as long as stutter-proofing remains active, shifters are not a problem. However, stutter-proofing of large outside areas is not feasible given our chronon particle budget, so we have developed our technology to defend against shifters, the chronon dampeners. Yeah, this is the machine we encountered in the last episode. A chronon dampener works by annihilating free-floating chronon particles within a specified area. As shifters are hypersaturated by chronon particles, they cannot enter an area in which a chronon dampener is active without their wave function collapsing. Therefore, our operatives in the field have a solid portable defense against shifters. Yeah. And we as Jack Choice are, I would say, half a shifter, because we can use these free-flowing chronon particles and utilize them to our needs. Our own technology is shielded against the dampener's effects, so activities in stutters undertaken by our strikers and other operatives are not hindered. However, as an unfortunate side effect, the dampeners have a crippling effect on individuals who are chronon active without the aid of technology. Yeah, accordingly, should Mr. Serene be present, you should always make him aware of your intentions before activating a dampener. You may rest assured that the dampener is not powerful enough to do actual physical harm to Mr. Serene, whose system constantly produces new chronon particles to replace the ones that are lost. But as the dampener's effects are unpleasant and enervating, such an encounter is likely to lead to an awkward conversation about future career prospects. Okay, another text to read. CFR briefing by Dr. Sophia Amaral. It's no exaggeration to say that the chronon field regulator, or the CFR, is at the heart of all of Monarch's technology advances. It has taken on a somewhat mystical quality given its origin and the vital role it plays in the lifeboat project, but in actuality the CFR's applications are very practical. That's not to say that the CFR hasn't had a course-altering impact on the work Monarch solution does. It's been hugely influential in the development of both the stutter-proofing technology that allows us to shield large areas from the effects of a zero state, enabling time to keep flowing within them even as it stops everywhere else, as well as the smaller personalized application of the same technology, the portable chronon harnesses that allow our soldiers and technicians to operate freely within stutters. We think of Dr. Henry Kim as the father of all this technology, and deservedly so, but for all of his brilliance, it was his dedication to uncovering the secrets of the CFR that allowed him to make his breakthroughs. Despite Dr. Kim's hard work, the CFR's functionality is still not fully understood, and we have not been able to replicate the device. Having more than one of them would obviously be greatly advantageous to us, but we find ourselves in a precarious position where in order to fully investigate it we would have to take it apart. Given its immense power, and undertaking would pose obvious risks. Perhaps even more importantly, there is no guarantee that we would be able to put it back together again, given that it's vital to the implementation of the lifeboat protocol. It's our best policy to leave it intact. We do know, however, that the CFR can not only store an immense amount of chronon particles, it can also tap into the Maya choice field and, with great precision, manipulate it. It's this unique ability that our own chronon technology replicates, albeit at far less control and efficiency. It's also what makes the lifeboat protocol a reality. By itself, our stutter-proofing technology is powerful and reliable, but its rate of chronon particle consumption is high, and it increases at an alarming rate as we widen the volume of space the stutter-proofing covers. This would, on the face of it, make the stutter-proofing a very temporary solution indeed. One that could perhaps buy us some subjective weeks once we enter the permanent zero state, but which would ultimately only delay the inevitable. However, the CFR changes all of that. When the permanent stutter-proofing installed on the lifeboat, indeed the very stutter-proofing that makes the lifeboat in the first place, is directed by the CFR, the system becomes vastly more efficient. Our chronon particle consumption is reduced to around 1% of what it otherwise would be. Given that chronon particles are hard to source, even at our ground zero installation, and our stockpiles are decidedly limited, this means that the CFR makes the difference between lifeboat being a temporary stopgap solution or a very long-term undertaking that hopefully allows us to eventually find a solution to end the end of time. Yeah, and the CFR to find a solution to the end of time, yeah. And the CFR was developed by our brother Will. He's the creator. Okay, this was Dr. Amaral's office. Another office and more stuff to read. Okay. From Martin Hatch, the purpose of the gala to Monarch team leads. Greetings. It has been brought to my attention that there is some confusion as the reason for the upcoming evening gala on Gull Island. I understand that some feel that such a celebration is frivolous, even misguided in the aftermath of last night's events at Riverport University and now present steadily advancing fracture in time. These concerns are understandable, but they are missing the bigger picture. Monarch Solutions is now entering a phase in which its true purpose will be fulfilled. We have finally arrived at the moment for which we have spent years preparing. The purpose of this event is twofold. First of all, for those selected to be part of the lifeboat project, scientists, technicians, support personnel, or some other role, it will be important to see, hear, and hear Paul Serene. Continued confidence in the survival program is vital for the continued survival of Monarch and ultimately the human race itself. This is particularly important given recent events. We need to present a desirable and reassuring counterpoint to the sacrifice we've had to make. Naturally, not everybody at the party will be among the chosen few, so a certain degree of informational hygiene will be required. I trust you will ensure that those reporting to you are informed precisely to the degree necessary. Secondly, for all our autonomy and vast resources, Monarch is not functionally independent from the rest of society. In order for our plans to succeed, we will need the support and cooperation of the authorities and numerous business partners, even though they don't know our true goals. A demonstration of power and confidence, as well as certain judicious investments of currency and influence, will go a long way towards security that support. Our PR blitz has been working well, but in order to maintain momentum, we must maintain an amicable relationship with Riverport's leadership. Our entire approach is based on the idea of Monarch stepping in to assist the authorities and being welcomed by citizens and city administration alike. Should the latter suddenly declare Monarch's help unwanted or unsanctioned, our entire strategy could collapse in just a few hours. That would be disastrous to our plan. In conclusion, this tremendously important event for the future of Monarch Solutions and for the future itself. This is a tremendously important event. If there are any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me, Martin Hedge. Yes, Mr. Hedge. He always cares so much. He's such a nice guy. So careful. Okay. Now we need to get down there somehow.
Quite expensive piece of tech you stole.
Bill me. I knew Beth's cover wouldn't last long. Had to get it to her at the party before it was too late.
Oh yeah, now we can get in here. What do we have here?
Guns made to operate in a stutter. Paul had clear priorities. When time ends, guns don't.
Indeed. So we found all Chronon sources here, and we have only one Chronon point available. And let's first have a look at the offices. There will be a lot of additional text to read. I'm so satisfied about this. Yeah, but let's just do it. It's part of the game, so we need to be brave. Maybe there is something interesting inside. Maybe. Here's another text. They're writing so much emails. From Sophia Amaral, the time machine, to Monarch team leads. Hello, at least the text is not so super long. Hello, I just have been informed that the time machine core we obtained from the university has reached Monarch headquarters safely and is currently being installed into the new time machine corridor system we have constructed there. As you know, the core of the time machine is the time machine. The corridor around it is merely the user interface. This means, of course, that once the installation is complete, the installation work is complete, we have effectively moved the time machine from the university into the Monarch headquarters. That said, we don't intend to use it. Let me repeat that. There are no current plans to use the time machine. We are not sure how safe it would be to use, given that its initial activation has caused the fracture. I personally... oh, I have a little frog in my throat, sorry. I personally believe that now that the core has been activated, further use would be safe. But make no mistake, this is a hypothesis, not a proven fact. We know that the machine taps into the universal Maya choice field, and somehow that connection has caused a fracture in the field apparently because of a misconfiguration. We are looking into the specifics, but until we know for sure, it would be irresponsible to use the time machine. However, having it in place gives us a degree of control. It allows us in an emergency to travel backwards, although we obviously can go no further than to the time of its activation last night, or forwards as might be required. Obviously being fully secured at our building's restricted area on the top floor also means that nobody else can use the machine. I have to reiterate that the only person who may authorize the use of the machine is Paul Serene. I do not have that authority. Martin Hedge does not have that authority. The only person who does is Mr. Serene. He takes this issue very seriously, and I strongly suggest that you do the same. Okay. Yeah. Mr. Hedge won't like this, that he does not have the authority to do so. So let's first read this here. From Charlie Winkett, what's up girl, to Fiona Miller. Well, as far as the university thing goes, I can't really talk about that. Yeah, obviously, I know I'm like the first person they talk to about something like that, but it's classified. I sure as hell wouldn't put that down in an email, so maybe you should just come down and talk to me. You know, if I was free to talk about it, which I'm obviously not, bring food. Seriously, I can't talk about it. I don't even wanna know how you know about it, but you should still bring me food. Not sausages. Don't make this weird. Charlie. To Charlie Winkett, Fiona Miller. What's up, girl? Jesus, Charlie, I can tell that you're a man of great sophistication. Did you major the smooth talk or not? Actually, hey, speaking of education, I heard rumors about that OP coming up at the university. I know you know. Cause you always know about that sort of stuff. It sounds pretty serious. What the hell's all about this, Fiona? To Fiona Miller, Charlie Winkett. So I had it. So I had a dream about you last night. It wasn't anything bad, don't worry, but it was pretty fucking weird. Let's just say that if you have a second mouth hidden under your arm that keeps on insisting that the international stock market being controlled by the Pittsburgh Steelers, this would be a real good time to tell me. I mean, I don't usually have premonitions or anything. I don't believe in that crap, but just the same, I'd hate for that one to turn out to be true. Oh, and also that mouth eats nothing but sausages. Real jumpy chomp style. So you know there's probably nothing Freudian happening there. Oh yeah. Sigmund Freud. Just wanted you to know. Where are you up to? What are you up to, Charlie? International stock market being controlled by Bitter. This would be a real good time to tell me. Let's read this. Check out Berg's contacts. Who's he working with? Brenner's Mug. Intel object found. Okay. Let's move on. This episode lasts now already quite some time. No. We have to get in here. And in there. And now we have to get to the party. Here's something to discover.
The Monarch combat gear was unwieldy. What I'd taken from Dr. Amaral's office was much lighter. Almost like a civilian model.
Yes, that's right. Okay, and we will get through this door here in the next episode. So, yeah, guys, thanks a lot for watching. And see you tomorrow in the next episode of Let's Play Quantum Break. Have a good time. Bye bye.